The Secret Misses. Chapter 961. Ashley had predicted that it would take half a month to a month's time, yet the reality was that it took less than that. First, it was the imperial socialite Miss Wang's birthday banquet, and her outfits were always very fashionable within the socialites' circle, as she liked trying new and unique brands. On the day of her birthday banquet, she wore a vintage oriental dress which reminded one of a hot cloud of volcanic ash, complimenting her in a brilliant and moving way, mesmerizingly outshining the other beauties that night. The moment the banquet ended, many had already walked up to ask her about the brand of her outfit. They found out that it had been given by a good friend in the fashion industry and was designed by the Golden Award-winning mysterious designer, L. In fact, it had yet to be released in the market and was the latest design from the brand. Even Alice was all fondness and praise for the outfit. Spirits started to a hot topic within the circle, and those who were presented with outfits but had not planned to wear them all took them out to flaunt. A few days later, a dame from the socialite circle had wine accidentally spilled on her dress during a certain banquet. She did not immediately have a change of clothes, and coincidentally the dress that Ashley had given her was in the car. The dame was loyal to well-known international brands, so she did not like wearing just any random brands, but she changed into it as she had no other choice. That night, after the dame had changed into the peacock blue cheapao, it received endless praises from all the female guests. They all spoke about the delicateness of the dress and how it complemented her aura so well, as if it was tailored for her. Many of the middle-aged ladies her age had walked over to ask about the brand of her clothing and whose design it was. After that, there was another incident that caused quite a commotion. The old General Alexander had collaborated with Jonathan and his granddaughter, Tiffany, to receive very important guests from many countries, and this event was even streamed live on the national news. That day, the old general's granddaughter, Tiffany, had worn a composed yet vivacious gown. Most importantly, this gown had perfectly combined fashion with Chinese elements, attracting the praises of being international friendly. Everyone admired the charm of the Chinese influence on the dress. Soon, Spirit was suddenly on fire. From the socialite circle to the dames, everyone talked about it, and it even got the country support and funding in the form of the advocacy of local brands. Even though a few $1 million was not considered a lot, this meant that Spirit would have opportunities to represent the country in even more important occasions in the future. Oh my God, oh my God. Boss. We're on fire. Fire. Spirit is on fire. Our phones are exploding with calls. And the orders. All the orders. Freya was so excited, then she hopped over to Ashley and sincerely bowed. Direction Ashley, you're amazing. I apologize for doubting you before this. You're really so amazing. Ashley looked at Luna, who was busy looking through some customer details, and said, the truth is, the effect I had predicted was only to open up a pathway for our market. The fact that it has progressed to this point wasn't within my expectations, especially with Miss Tiffany. She thought that the friend Luna had mentioned she wanted to give the clothes to was just a normal socialite, but who would have known that it was actually old General Sterling's daughter, the #1 socialite of Imperial, Tiffany. What shocked her even more was that she never would have thought that Tiffany would wear their clothes at such an occasion. Usually the outfits worn at those occasions would be controlled by personal stylists. One could not just wear anything they liked unless it was someone with a really, really special relationship that allowed Tiffany to persuade the stylist to let her wear the outfit. Of course, their outfit quality and design could definitely pass the test and was outstanding enough for the stylists to agree with. Chapter 962. When she heard what Ashley said, Luna looked up from her documents and exclaimed, to be honest, I was surprised myself. We really owe Tiffany a huge one this time. When I'm done with all this, I must treat her to a feast. Boss. We have so many orders flowing in. Do we have to start rushing the production for the new items? I'm worried that we don't have enough manpower. We only have 10 craftsmen to cater to the bespoke orders. Luna nodded at Ashley and said, Director Ashley, you should already have a plan in mind, don't you? Since Ashley had dared to suggest that risky idea to just give the clothes away, she should definitely have something in mind already. Ashley said briskly, my plan is to temporarily reject all of the orders. If anyone asks, We'll just have to answer that we've run out of stock and that high-quality bespoke pieces must all be pre-ordered 3 months in advance. The customers who successfully pre-order will be serviced personally by our team who'll tailor outfit styles based on their image and aura. Ah. Reject all of them? All? Freya widened her eyes in shock. However, she was not as impulsive this time. Instead, she contemplated Ashley's reasoning. Director Ashley, are you trying to create the idea that the rarer something is, the greater it is in value? Ashley nodded. That's right. To the customers, something that's too easily attainable will be just as easy to ditch aside. The harder it is to purchase would only make them treasure and covet it more. If we give in to every request, they'll lose interest very quickly and even feel like they aren't special if everyone else wears the same piece too. This is why history got overdone in the socialite circle so quickly. They fell short of the market peak just for momentary profit. Luna snapped her fingers. Okay, let's do that then. Coincidentally, we need to renovate our office and hire new staff and all that. Ashley paused, then continued, additionally, I have another piece of good news and the time is quite ripe now. I've shortlisted quite a few retailers with good potential, so we can begin our physical flagship stores. Whoa! Hooray! Freya tugged at Angelo's arm and cheered excitedly. Luna felt moved with a myriad of emotions bubbling within her. Finally, we made it. Angelo, are you okay? After the flagship store opens, we'll definitely need huge amounts of ready-made designs, Luna asked in concern. Angelo revealed a radiant smile and took out a huge stack of drafts from the drawer. I've long prepared for this day to come. Luna looked at the design drafts with sparkling eyes. Just a skim of them and she knew that they were products from the essence of the peak of his inspiration. Oh wow! So much effort. All of my partners are so reliable. I feel so secure. Boss, you're the one that makes us feel most secure. You always do things that we thought were impossible. Freya said with shining eyes as she voiced out Angelo's thoughts. Okay, enough brown nosing. I'll definitely increase your salaries next month. With bonus thrown in. Boss, I love you. Okay, get to work now, let me answer this call. The phone rang and Luna walked to the balcony to get it. Congrats, Boss Luna, greeted Alice's voice. Luna laughed, don't call me boss, I can't accept this, Boss Alice. Don't be humble, you've progressed so much in such a short time that even I have to praise you. What's even more unexpected is that you've made my trump card submit to you so soon. It looks like after this 1 year, I won't be able to retrieve my trump card, huh? Alice teased. Luna's raised her brows. Hey, this is probably just my personal charm doing its trick. You punk. Alice laughed, then said faintly, but now, can you tell me the story behind your mysterious designer, Elle? Chapter 963. Luna fell silent, then asked, I wonder, if Boss Cheen knows History's predecessor? History's predecessor, you mean Neon? It was an indie brand with rather great potential. I noticed it right from the start. James's designs are too ingenious, so Neon was just waiting for an opportunity, then after they were noticed and Emma invested in it, it had risen instantly. Luna's expression was cold. Elle is the real founder of Neon. What? On the other end of the phone, Alice's tone was beyond shocked. She obviously did not expect this turn of events. She finally understood why she had that weird feeling when she compared Spirit and History before this. Now, all of her puzzled thoughts were answered. So, that's why, I guessed correctly that James was the real copycat. No, even worse than that, he's a straight-up thief. Even though this result was surprising, it was still within reason. No wonder, now it makes sense, but why don't you guys expose this? Alice asked, puzzled. Luna nonchalantly replied, in such a situation where we have no evidence, who would believe the words of the weaker one? But that doesn't matter anymore. One day, I want to introduce my designer with a proper title to the world. At the balcony entrance, Angelo had wanted to look for Luna. Just as he pushed the door open, he heard Luna saying this on the balcony, totally catching him off guard, and his eyes instantly reddened. His heart felt as if it had been hit by a truck. The young man tightened his grip on the design drafts and took a deep breath before slowly backing out. "Pfft, you're a big talker." Alice chortled, although she felt like this was actually not bragging. "Then, I'll wish you luck. Remember to treat me to a meal." "Definitely." In the following period of time, many socialities and wealthy young men who wanted to please girls had called Spirit almost every day to inquire about how to place orders, some even personally dropping by. However, it did not matter how powerful or famous they were, or how much money they offered, all of them had left empty-handed. Spirit's answer to everyone was that they were out of stock and people needed to pre-order. To order a set of Spirit's high-quality pieces was not easy. Even so, the pre-order bills still continued to pile up without signs of slowing down. It had formed a queue of up to 6 months and counting. Among the socialites, especially among the aristocrats, there were not only those with great wealth. Some of them were business-minded as well. They proposed to put Spirit's ready-made wear on retail shelves, so that they could expand their businesses too. In just 1 month, Spirit had rode on their wave of irresistible force and opened up a flagship store in Imperial and soon expanded to 3 different branches. Their business in other provinces was also expanding. If all went well, they could start planning to enter the international market next year. At night, at Platinum Palace, Luna had specially cooked a feast and opened a bottle of red wine to celebrate. "Congratulations," said Theo as he raised his glass to the girl. As she looked at the godlike man opposite her, Luna clinked her glass to his and drank up. "Thank you." The little bun who was watched them did not want to be outdone and picked up his glass of milk too. Luna laughed and clinked her glass with his cup too, then she leaned on her chin and sighed. "It feels so surreal now that things are going so smoothly all of a sudden. You have taken sturdy steps and made your way here. You've prepared well, so there's no reason for worry," advised Theo. As she watched Theo educate her like he was a life coach, Luna held back a giggle and nodded as seriously as she could. Teacher Theo's words of wisdom. Chapter 964. After dinner, Luna suddenly remembered something very important and quickly looked at her baby little treasure. "Oh, little treasure, there's something I need your help with. Can you help Mommy write some calligraphy?" He could certainly help Mommy, so little treasure nodded happily. In the study room, Luna had prepared a calligraphy brush, some ink, and paper, then she started to grind the block of ink. Because little treasure could not reach the top of the desk, Theo had lifted him atop a stool. Little treasure tilted his head, asking his mommy what she wanted him to write. Luna thought about it, then said, "Help me write, how can the goldfish be a person of no particular talent? It transforms into a dragon with trials and hardships. The dragon can cry to the 9th heavens and call for change, and the tables will turn and opportunities will abound." Little treasure nodded, then picked up the brush and started to write. Throughout this period of time, little treasure had not fallen behind in his training. The healthier he was, the more stable and energetically he could control the brush. It glided through the paper like a swimming dragon, complemented by these words that were penetratingly powerful. "My baby is becoming more and more amazing," praised Luna. Theo looked at her and asked, "Are you presenting this to someone?" Luna was suddenly shocked. "Big boss, how did you know?" "To who?" Theo asked. I want to give it to Angelo." "What do you think? Don't these words suit him very well?" Luna beamed with happiness, but she did not get Theo's answer. She turned to look and indeed, someone was jealous again. "Pfft, you jealous?" Luna propped up her arms and leaned her head over to peer at him. Theo looked at her with a poker face. "Where's mine?" When she saw Theo's childlike manner of asking for a present, Luna found him extremely adorable and could not help but lean over and kiss him. "Will this do?" He gave a dissatisfied look, showing that it was barely satisfactory, but just as he was about to continue, a public service announcement suddenly slid in between them. Little treasure held up a piece of paper with the announcement with a serious face. On the paper, he had written a few words in huge fonts, "Baby is angry." Theo was speechless. Luna was dying of laughter. She quickly kissed the little bun on his cheek to compensate. I'm sorry. Baby, please don't be angry. The little bun was satisfied, then he picked up his personal stamp and continued to work. Late at night, the moon was clear and bright while the night was cold. Because Luna had had a few drinks, she stayed over at his bungalow. In the dead of the night, Theo felt something amiss, so he pulled away from his blanket and got up. He pushed through the door to Luna's room lightly and found no one inside, neither was she in Little Treasure's room. As he anxiously wondered where she could be, the moonlight shone through the window and he saw a shadow in the garden. Theo reflexively took the blanket from his bed and rushed downstairs. The night breeze caressed his skin while the leaves on the trees rustled gently. Under the moonlight, Theo saw from afar that the girl sat on a swing with a can of beer in her hand. It's late. Why aren't you asleep? Theo rushed over and put the blanket over her, then touched her hands to see if they were cold. Big boss. When she saw who it was, Luna immediately clung to him like a koala, her head nuzzled in the space of his neck. I'm happy. So happy that I can't sleep. Are you that happy? Theo stroked the girl's head. Luna nodded, then said with a serious expression, Of course I'm happy. I'm one step closer to the day that I can take the big boss as my wife. Theo was obviously stunned when he heard this. He cleared his throat and said with a calm demeanor, You should be happy about it. Chapter 965. Nevertheless, she seemed calm, the instant sparkle in her eyes giving away the good mood of the owner. Nonetheless, as happy as you are, you still have to sleep, so let's go back now. Theo took away the beer can in her hand. Luna opened her arms and playfully said, Carry me. Theo naturally complied. Even after Theo had carefully carried her back to bed, Luna still did not want to let go. Accompany me. Theo hesitated for a moment before complying in the end. Luna lay on the bed restfully before she opened her eyes again and looked bright-eyed at the man who laid beside her. Big boss, I'm drunk. Luna rolled and leaned on his chest, then poked him with a finger and asked curiously, It's such a golden opportunity, wouldn't you like to take advantage of me? Theo held the crazy girl's little hand and said without any expression, You still have work tomorrow. Luna was confused. Must work have an inevitable connection with you taking advantage of me? Theo continued calmly, If I take advantage of you, you won't be able to work tomorrow. Maybe you wouldn't even be able to the day after, and the day after that. What he implied was that she would not be able to leave the bed for a few days. Big boss, you're so corrupted. Luna instantly looked at him accusingly, then scoffed to expose him. Was it because of what you said before about how you have a principle of not condoning premarital sex? Theo replied, Have I said that before? Luna was speechless. The next day, after work, Luna went straight to the studio and presented Little Treasure's calligraphy work to Angelo. Thank you, boss. Angelo was touched, a mix of emotions stirred within him just by looking at the words. No need to thank me, there's no way I could have written this. I asked someone to write it for me. It's a very amazing master who wrote it, so keep it safe. It'll definitely appreciate in price in the future. Luna teased. Angelo appreciated it deeply and looked at it for a long time before hanging it at the most obvious spot. When Ashley saw Luna come over, she quickly walked over in her high heels to report about her work. Boss, to ensure the interest of our retailers, we can only open up 5 branches at most in Imperial. We currently have 3, so now we're down to 2. These are some of the suitable areas that I've just picked out. Okay, let me take a look. Luna put down her bag and took the documents from Ashley's desk. Before she could go through anything, she caught sight of another stack of information on Ashley's desk from the corner of her eye. Those are some of the retail applications that I've filtered out, Ashley explained. Luna picked up the first proposal on the top and was surprised to see a familiar name on it. Zoe? Yes, cousin to the CEO of the Goldberg Corporation, Theo. Have you heard of her too? Ashley asked. I've heard a little about her, Luna nodded slightly, then asked, "What's wrong? Does she not fit our criteria?" Based on identity alone, Theo's cousin would be more than enough, but, based on what I've learned, Zoe aspires to be an entrepreneur, but she's not really business-minded. Every one of her businesses all suffered huge losses. We're in the most important phase, so we must be careful in choosing retailers. As much as Zoe has great support backing her up, there's no way we can let our brand be played around by her. It could affect our brand, or worse, affect our market presence. Chapter 966. Ashley was worried that Luna was overconfident about Zoe's identity, so she explained to her why she did not prioritize her as a candidate. Luna smiled mysteriously. "What a coincidence, I didn't want to work with this person before too." Boss. The branch is running dry. We need to reallocate some stock from the main store." Freya ran to her, panting with one hand holding her phone. "How many do we roughly need?" Luna asked. Freya handed over the form in her hand and said, 52 in total. In comparison to Spirit's bespoke line's vintage magnificence and outstanding design, Spirit's ready-made line was not that far off in terms of quality. From the design to the materials, they had all gone through tight quality checks, and they had strictly limited the number of garments in the same design to avoid their clothes being too common, hence their sales numbers were pretty good. So many. Luna looked at the form and noticed that most of them were the more expensive designs, which came up to a considerable amount. Most of the current employees were newly hired, but she could not simply let anyone do it. "I got it, coincidentally I'm free now. I'll personally reallocate the main store's stock." Spirit's main store had opened in Central Imperial's largest premium outlet. Not too long ago, Luna had met up with Tiffany to shop here the last time. She had even sighed in sorrow when she dropped by History's flagship store. Who would have thought that today, her own shop too could sit in this golden triangle? Luna had called the main store first, informing them that she would be over to transfer the stock personally and had them get the stock ready beforehand. Then, she got her chauffeur and made her way to the premium outlet. When she reached the premium outlet, Luna was walking towards the store when she unexpectedly bumped into some familiar faces in the elevator. Inside the lift, Willow was intimately holding onto the arm of a noble and elegant woman. She was smiling as she spoke to her. An adorable and lovable girl beside the woman was also chatting away happily. It was Willow, Margaret, and Zoe. Upon realizing who it was in the elevator, Luna had already stepped in and the door automatically closed behind her. At the same time, when all three of them saw Luna in the lift, they were stunned and it became awkward. "Miss Luna, what a coincidence, we meet again." The first person to speak was Willow. Willow wore a composed champagne Prada dress, which was one of their latest designs. Her outfit was easily worth a few $100,000. A Louis Vuitton bag hung on her arm and flawless pearls decorated her neck and wrist, while her posture was calm and graceful, as if she did not bear any hostility and grudges against the person before her. After Margaret's temporary shock, she evaluated Luna and did not say anything. "Miss Guan, Miss Lu, Madame Lu." Luna only nodded slightly and considered her greetings courteous enough, then she stood quietly aside without any intention of making small talk. How unlucky. We were shopping so happily. How did we bump into this woman? Zoe gently took Margaret's arm and looked clearly upset. When she heard Zoe mumbling, Luna subconsciously took a second look at her. When she had a clear look of the outfit on her, a slight surprise flashed across her eyes. The floral and bird pattern dress in the style of calligraphy ink on Zoe was clearly from Spirit's bespoke line. Luna had seen it in Angelo's design drafts and she had a memorable impression of it. However, this naturally was not one of those that Ashley had given out because Zoe was not on the name list. She had probably pre-ordered it when the studio released the news of being out of stock. Chapter 967. When she noticed Luna's gaze on her, Zoe was suddenly delighted and told Margaret, "Auntie, I'll bring you to a really awesome store later. It just opened recently and you'll definitely like the style of clothes they have." Margaret laughed mirthfully. "How could I possibly wear clothes that you young ladies fancy?" "No. They also have many styles that suit you, especially with your charisma." Besides, when you stand beside me and Willow, you look completely like our sister. Oh, you. How could you spew such nonsense? Margaret was secretly pleased to hear her compliment. No woman would truly brush off their appearance, it did not matter how old they were. However, Zoe was not exaggerating. Compared to women her age, Margaret had indeed aged fairly well. Auntie, Zoe is not spewing nonsense. Whenever I shop with you, there've been quite a few times that friends we bump into have asked me privately about when I have another elder sister. Willow smiled as she said this. As Margaret was being showered with compliments by the two girls beside her, she smiled broadly in amusement. Willow seemed to have said those words to amuse Margaret, but the truth was that she was also intending to let Luna hear her. Quite a few times, implied that Willow was very close to Margaret and that they always came out to shop together. But aren't most of the new brands not very reliable? Willow asked worriedly. Zoe quickly replied, Willow, don't worry. Do you still remember the peacock blue cheapao that Madame Fong wore at the dinner banquet? Didn't you think it was pretty too, Auntie? That cheapao is the brand I'm talking about. A few days ago, when Miss Tiffany was receiving international guests with General Sterling, she wore this brand too. Sadly, you can't buy the bespoke ones anymore. You'll need to pre-order at least 3 months in advance. Nevertheless, I've gone to visit the boutique and the ready-made ones are not bad too. They're completely fine to wear casually and they've got a lot of styles in the main store. Really? Margaret started to take interest in this amazing brand. She did have a good impression of the gown Madame Fong wore because it was indeed very pretty and she liked the style. If it was worn by the Sterling to receive such prominent guests, it should be quite a top-notch brand. Yeah. Auntie, trust my insights. Look, do you think this outfit looks nice on me? Not bad, it's very pretty. Exactly, this was one of their pieces that I managed to snag before they were out of stock. The elevator slowly ascended and in between conversations, they arrived at their floor. Luna was on her way to Spirit's flagship store while Zoe, Willow, and Margaret coincidentally wanted to check out Spirit's clothes too, thus all 4 of them had left the elevator at the same time. When Zoe saw that Luna had walked out at the same time as them, she looked unhappy but she did not say anything. She only scoffed and pulled Margaret away. Luna did not want to get involved with them. Plus, it was even more awkward to walk together, so she had intentionally slowed down her pace behind them until she was quite a distance away. As they walked, her phone rang. The flagship storekeeper had called to say that they had begun the reallocation of stock and asked her to wait for a while until they completed. Chapter 968. At the same time, the 3 of them including Zoe reached the store. The decoration in Spirit was unlike History's that had been designed in a vintage style to the T. Luna had noticed during her observation the last time that that sort of vintage theme was a little too heavy and gloomy. Thus, Spirit's main color palette was on the nude side. It used elements of Chinese aesthetics and at the same time, combined it with modern minimalism. Altogether it looked very fresh, simple and elegant. Apart from that, the store had also put in extra effort in the rest area. They provided a comfortable waiting area for the men who accompanied their girlfriends and wives to shop, and in another corner was a special play area for children. It was very people-friendly. After Margaret walked in, her eyes skimmed the area, and when she saw that there were a few children playing with wooden blocks in the play area, her gaze instantly softened. Her first impression of this store was a good one. To actually think of things like these, one could tell that the boss was a detailed and gentle person. Usually, stores would not waste space on things like these. Miss Zoe, you're here. When they saw the customers who had walked in, the shop assistants greeted them and served them tea. The last time Zoe had come, she had snagged up quite a few pieces. Furthermore, she was wearing one of Spirit's rare bespoke pieces on her, so the shop assistants remembered her quite well. They noticed 2 other people besides Zoe. One was in her 20s and the other was slightly older. They both had extraordinary charisma, especially the older lady. They surmised that she must be someone important. The shop assistants naturally did not dare neglect them and were even more eagerly attentive towards them. Is the store manager not here? Zoe looked around and asked. The store manager is currently in the storeroom sorting out some stock. Is there anything we can help you with, Ms. Zoe? The shop assistant inquired passionately. Do you have these few outfits in your store? Zoe turned on her phone, clicked on her photo album and showed the shop assistant the few outfits she wanted. The shop assistant took a look and quickly replied, yes, these are selling like hot cakes. All of the other branches are out of stock, only our flagship store has some. However, one of the two just arrived today and we haven't had the time to hang them out. Initially, we were preparing to put up the new arrivals tomorrow, but if you'd like to have them, I can go and get them for you from the storeroom now, Miss Zoe. Sure. When she knew that there was stock, Zoe was overjoyed. Okay, then please have some tea and wait for a moment, said the shop assistant before she went to the storeroom for the outfits. Not too long after the shop assistant had left, Luna walked in. The store manager and one of the shop assistants had gone to the storeroom, and the other one was busily assisting a few other customers, so they did not notice Luna's arrival. Instead, it was Zoe who saw Luna the moment she walked in. Luna had not only got off on the same floor as them, she had even walked into the same store. Zoe tried to keep a cool expression but could not hold it in any longer. What's wrong with this person? She's everywhere. And she actually followed us all the way into this store. There's no need to do this even if she wants to worm into a relationship. Doesn't she know that she's really annoying? Zoe's voice was loud enough for Luna to hear. Willow nudged Zoe. Zoe. She's just here to look at the clothes. Look at what clothes? She obviously heard our conversation in the lift and followed us here. Do you think she's stupid? Zoe bitterly tugged at Margaret's arm. Auntie, don't bother about people like her. Margaret frowned. Even though she did not say anything, she could not help but feel uncomfortable that Luna was stalking her. Chapter 969. When she saw Zoe's irritated expression, Luna asked plainly, do you own this store, Miss Zoe? Did people have to get her permission to enter? Zoe was stunned, and when she realized what she meant, her temper raged. You. So what if I do or not? Dare you say that you didn't intentionally follow us in because you want to get close to Auntie? Luna wanted to say something, but in the end, she just shook her head and laughed. She walked straight to sit at the rest area, closing her eyes while she waited for the store manager to prepare the stock. Last night, she had been headstrong and drank till late at night, then she had a shoot for the entire day. The moment she finished shooting, she had gone to the studio, then rushed here without stopping to rest. She was already beyond exhausted, so there was no need for her to waste more energy on others. Look at her. She has nothing to say. She doesn't even want to buy any clothes. She's just sitting there. Obviously, she's just here to prove her presence only. Willow shook her head. Have you ever seen anyone prove her presence like that? She's probably just waiting for someone. I've never seen it before, but now I've really seen it all. Zoe muttered. Margaret obviously did not want to be tangled in this, so she pat Zoe on the shoulder and said, let's look at the clothes. Seeing that Margaret was not at ease, Zoe finally shut up. However, once she thought about Luna's words, she felt very angry. So what if she did not own the store? She was about to open a retail store, but they had the nerve to reply her saying that her qualifications did not suit their request. How unimaginable. Simply based on the identity of Theo's cousin, no one would not give her face. It was just a newly started brand, yet they had unexpectedly rejected her. However, she really did like this brand's designs very much. In fact, she felt that this time, she was certain that she did not make an error of judgment. She would definitely not make losses again, so she still had not given up hope. Oh, Auntie, come over and see this. I think it suits you well. I've noticed it since the last time I came over to shop. It's a good thing it hasn't been sold. Even though this outfit is lovely, it chooses its wearers, and I think only you can dominate it, Auntie. It was an ornate cheapao with embroidered crabapple flowers, which was not overly extravagant. In fact, Margaret felt that this piece was stunning. It is not bad. Isn't it? Auntie, I'll give this to you. You don't even need to try it on for me to know that you'll look very good in this. Zoe immediately had another shop assistant pack the outfit for her. You punk, you wouldn't have something you need my help for, do you? Margaret laughed as she caressed the gown. She did like it very much. Zoe playfully shook Margaret's arm and meekly said, Auntie, you're so smart. Actually, your niece does have a small favor to ask of you. I knew it. That's why you're so eager in currying my favor. What is it now? Margaret mocked. Well, actually, I want to open up a retail store for Spirit, but they rejected my application, replying that my qualifications are not suitable. I have money and resources, how am I not suitable? Why do you want to put another fashion brand on your retail shelf? Margaret felt a headache coming on when she heard this. Zoe, just listen to your father and be an obedient lady, or go to Theo's company and have him arrange a stable position for you. Isn't that much better? I don't want that, I like to go into business. Auntie, can you help me to beg cousin? As long as he says a word, he can definitely solve everything. Zoe was begging like a spoiled child. Margaret looked helplessly at her. Zoe, it's not that Auntie doesn't want to help you, but I can't say much to your cousin. How about you look for him yourself? They had so many relatives from the lines of descendants that continue to branch out, and if everyone looked for Theo for every little thing, he would die from being so busy. Thus, usually for such requests, she would reject whenever she could and not trouble her son, even if it was for Zoe. Zoe's head drooped when she heard this. Her lingering fears showed on her face. I don't dare to look for him myself. He's been charmed by that woman. The last time I accidentally offended her too, so maybe that woman's already said some things to cousin and he now hates me. Willow, how about you talk to my cousin for me? Chapter 970. Since Margaret had also rejected her suggestion and obviously did not want to trouble Theo, Willow would obviously not go against Margaret's wishes and help Zoe herself. Compared to Zoe, Margaret came first. Thus, Willow had tactfully advised, Zoe, your cousin is so busy recently, it's best if you don't trouble him for this kind of thing. When she heard Willow's answer, Margaret's expression clearly showed that she was satisfied. However, Zoe would obviously be unhappy now. Willow thought about it and continued, it's not that there isn't any other way, even though I'm not familiar with China, I can get my friends to ask if they can have a word with the people in charge at Spirit. That'd be great. Willow, you're brilliant. Zoe immediately cheered up. Oh, you. Wait, I'll call right now to help you ask, but don't have too high hopes, it might not work. If you're calling, Willow, then it'll definitely work. Willow walked to a corner facing a display shelf and flipped through her contacts, stopping to click on Jake's number. Among all her friends in China, Jake had the best connections. Hello, Jake. Hello. Willow. Long time no hear. Jake's overjoyed voice greeted from the other end of the phone. After all, it was rare for Willow to call him. Jake, I have something that I need your help with. I wonder if you don't mind. Of course. Nothing is a problem when it comes to you. What is it? Tell me, I guarantee to get it done properly for you. Well, it's not really my problem, it's Zoe, who wants to retail a brand called Spirit, but she didn't get through their shortlisting process. I've just returned to China and don't know many people, so I wonder if you could help me put me through to the right people? Ah, it's Zoe. Jake's tone lowered quite a bit. Zoe was someone from the Goldbergs, so there was no doubt for who and why Willow was so helpful to Zoe. If you can't, then. Jake cut her off and said, it's not that I can't. Wait for me, I'll help you ask around now. Thank you then. Willow was grateful. If you manage to get a connection, just tell them that money is not a problem. Okay, I know, don't need to thank me. After Jake hung up, the nonchalant expression on him was instantly replaced by loneliness, bitterness lingering on his face. How could he have the heart to reject her requests, even if he knew that she was doing it for another man? After calming down, Jake immediately got someone to ask about Spirit. This studio was rather mysterious. The designer used an anonymous name to promote his clothing under the code name L, and no one knew who the owner behind it was. In the end, he still had to use some of his private means to investigate. After all, the Stu family was best at searching for information, so it was quite easy to investigate this little thing. Once he found out the truth, he was entirely dumbfounded. Pfft! Spirit's owner is actually that little bunny? From his investigation, Spirit's studio had advanced gradually. It was an unexpected champion in the fashion industry, and now, with its momentum, it was about to take over the internationally acclaimed history. He did not understand this little bunny the more he observed her. Because he was entrusted this task by Willow, Jake did not dare to delay any further. Once he figured it out, he immediately called Luna. An Asian expression of, "It's been a while." Chapter 971. At that moment, Luna, who was napping at the rest area, was suddenly awakened by the sound of her phone ringing. It was an unknown number. Luna picked it up. "Hello, who's this?" "Hello, it's me, Jake. Do you still remember me, little bunny?" "Oh, Mr. Jake, of course, I do." In the shopping area, Willow thought she heard Luna say, "Mr. Jake," and found it weird, but she did not pay too much attention. "Hee hee, good that you remember." Jake changed his tone into one that sought a favor. "Little bunny, you're so cool. I heard that you're the owner behind Spirit?" Luna raised her brows in surprise, then she sat up and replied, "How did you know? Did Theo tell you?" "I've got my sources. I'm thinking about asking you for a favor, Boss Brown. I wonder if that's possible. Just do it for Theo's sake. I'm Theo's best bro." "What favor?" "Well, I'll just cut the long story short. Zoe wants to put your brand on her retail shelves, but she did not get shortlisted, so do you think you could bypass the rules a little? After all, this lady is still Theo's cousin, isn't she?" On the other end of the phone, a slight laughter was heard. This sound gave Jake goosebumps. "What is it, Boss Brown? Is there a problem?" Luna looked towards Zoe and Willow, who were not too far away in the shopping area, and lowered her voice to say indistinctly, "I'm just a little surprised. I couldn't tell that you're actually a loyal one, Master Mo. You're really working hard just for your little beauty. You know that she's doing it for another man, yet you continue to help her without regrets?" The moment she said that, Jake was flabbergasted. How did you know?" He did not even mention Willow at all, did he? "It doesn't matter how I know. Let's leave work and our private lives separate." "Plus, there's no way I would agree," Luna firmly rejected. "Why?" "Money is not an issue. Just treat it as a favor for a bro." Luna rolled her eyes. "In terms of work, our studio does have rules. If one is not qualified, then they definitely cannot do retail. Personally, Willow is doing so much to get close to my boyfriend, so wouldn't I be stupid if I agree?" Jake was speechless. She had left him with nothing to say. He would never have thought that this little bunny would know everything. How amazing! Initially, such a thing would not be an issue as long as one had connections and wealth, but it was clear that in this situation, an abundance of wealth was of no use. After Luna hung up on Jake's call, Willow's phone rang. "How did it go? Did your friend call you back? Quickly answer your phone," Zoe asked excitedly. Willow smiled and nodded. "Yes, don't be anxious, I'll pick up now." "Hello?" Willow picked up. When she heard Jake share what happened, Willow's expression changed. Obviously, there was no way Jake could tell her the truth, so he simply answered that the other party had told him that they could not go against the rules and did not budge. "Okay, I understand, no worries. Thank you so much, this is something that can't be helped." "Thank you anyway," Willow just uttered, then hung up. "I'm so sorry, Zoe, it still won't do." When Zoe heard this, she instantly drooped her head in disappointment. However, a moment later, she still consoled Willow, "Never mind, Willow, I understand the studio's point of view. It's a little hard to handle, but I'll think of more ways later on." The more they won't let me do this, the more I want to." As she watched Zoe's reaction, Margaret looked amused. "You stubborn girl, when will you change?" Chapter 972. Because the storeroom was messy with a lot of boxes and stock around, the shop assistant that had gone to get outfits from the storeroom had gone for quite a while and not yet returned. Luna continued to sit in the quiet rest area and she did not look like she was leaving. Zoe looked towards Luna and instantly shifted the anger from her failure to get the retail opportunity onto her. She said unhappily, "Willow, Auntie, now do you believe that she's followed us here intentionally? Would anyone wait for this long someone else? Besides, there are so many other places. There's the milk tea shop, the coffee shop, the restaurant, yet of all places, why did she choose to sit here and wait?" This time, even Willow did not say anything. Her instincts told her that there was no way Luna would use such a forceful way to get close to them, but when she thought again, she felt that it could be possible. After all, for a woman of Luna's level, any opportunity to ask for a favor or even wanting to get close to the two elders of the Goldberg family was impossible. This time, she had unexpectedly bumped into them, so to seek for an opportunity to look good in front of Margaret was still quite understandable. However, Willow did not know what she wanted to do next now that she had followed them here. After the lessons learned from previous encounters, Willow tensed up and did not dare to take things easy. Zoe had a hot temper and at that moment, her patience threshold had reached its limit. She walked quickly to Luna and said, "You there, are you done? Are you addicted to following us? Does my cousin know how thick-skinned you are? You come to this store and not buy any clothes, yet you rightfully sit here and sleep, treating this place like your home. Can your skin not be so thick?" Luna felt her head hurt by the surge in the noise level and she looked up coldly. "Are you done talking?" When she saw Luna's arrogance, Zoe exploded and was ready to ditch her courteousness to scold her when suddenly a series of footsteps were heard from behind her. The first person to approach them was the shop assistant who had gone to get the clothes earlier. I'm sorry. The storeroom was a little messy. Sorry I've made you wait for so long. Miss Zoe, I've brought over all the outfits you wanted." Distracted, Zoe rushed off to look at the clothes. Behind the shop assistant was the flagship store manager that Zoe recognized. There were also several other male employees and every one of them was moving stacks of garments. "Miss Zoe, you're here. I'm really sorry as I'm really quite busy today. Our boss is here in store to reallocate some stock, so I can't personally assist you. If there's anything you need, please just let Xiao Zhao know," greeted the manager courteously to indicate his regret. When Zoe heard him, she looked suspiciously at him. Spirit's boss? She had been in the store for quite a long time. How come she had not seen anyone who looked like the boss? There were only a few of customers who came in and went out, and all the shop assistants who were busy running around. The owner of Spirit seemed to be quite mysterious. When she was informed that she had not passed the retail audit process, she wanted to propose to meet up with the boss for a chat. In fact, she had continuously made a few calls, but the reply every time was that the boss was very busy, so she had not managed to meet up with the person until now. So, when she heard the manager's words, Zoe was quite curious and was quite interested to meet this owner. "Manager, is the boss already in the store? Why didn't I see him or her? Coincidentally, there are some collaborations that I would like to discuss with your boss," Zoe told the manager. Chapter 973. When the manager heard that, he quickly skimmed the store but did not immediately see her. "The boss said she's already here. Let me make a call to ask." "Ah. Boss. You're here." The manager, who was about to make a call, put down his phone and looked at Luna who walking towards their direction from the rest corner. She quickly said, "Boss, all the stock you need has been moved out. Please check it. Oh, and Miss Zoe here seems to have something to discuss with you." The manager then introduced Zoe. "Miss Zoe, this is our boss. If you have anything, you may speak to her directly." "What?" The moment the manager said that, not only Zoe but Willow and Margaret were all taken aback. What did the manager mean? Their boss was Luna? No, wait, manager, what did you say? You mean this woman is your boss? Yes. When the manager saw Zoe's shocked expression, he thought that it was because she was shocked that Luna was so young and beautiful. To be honest, the first time she had met her female boss, she was blown away by her age and beauty too. The manager smiled and explained, "Our boss is usually very low-key, plus she's quite a busy woman, so very few people have seen her. Miss Zoe, you've come at a good time. Coincidentally, our boss came over to the flagship store to reallocate some stock, or else, we usually don't see the boss herself either." Luna was Spirit's owner. The reason why she had walked into the store and sat there without leaving was because she was waiting for the stock to be prepared. When she heard the manager's words, Zoe's face turned a pale green hue. Initially, Margaret had thought that Luna was here for her. Now, she looked incredibly awkward, but she was more surprised. Who'd expect that this shop I thought was not bad would actually be owned by this woman? Willow frowned, suddenly thinking of a minor detail. Earlier, she had heard Luna mention Mr. Jake on the phone. Could she have been on the phone with Jake earlier? No wonder even Jake could not get the other party to turn a blind eye to the rules. Spirit's owner was this woman. She was alert, but she would never have thought that this would be the outcome. Who would have thought? Miss Brown is actually Spirit's boss. Young and promising indeed. Willow exclaimed. "Miss Willow, you're very kind. Please continue to take your time to browse. As for Miss Zoe's request, I believe Director Ashley has already made it very clear to her," concluded Luna. Luna then left to continue her work. All of a sudden, from behind her, she heard Zoe scream, "Luna, stop right there. It was you. You intentionally stopped me from that retail opportunity, didn't you? This is obviously your way of public payback for our private matters." Luna did not want to say anything at first, but since so many employees were present, she had to say something. Thus, she turned around and said to Zoe, "Miss Zoe, I would like to ask you a question. If you didn't have the name Theo backing you, would anyone willingly work with you based on your highly unsuccessful career? If she did not have Theo's name backing her or the Goldberg family's background?" Zoe was surprisingly at a loss for words to answer Luna. Spirit has just only gotten on track. "I'm sorry that I really can't leave it at your expense, Miss Zoe." Chapter 974. After her confrontation, she saw that Zoe was biting her lip, looking embarrassed. Luna paused and then continued, "But I can see that you really do like our brand and I thank you for your love and support. If you're really interested in putting Spirit on your shelves, if you can show us how serious you are and not forgetting how sincere you are, Spirit's door is always open to you." On that note, Luna simply said, "Goodbye," and left. What's so great about Spirit? Who cares? It's just a crappy brand. Even though Zoe had been humiliated by those words earlier, there was no way she would admit that. She blurted out curses before she could control herself. "No one has ever dared to say such words to me, and it has to be from the mouth of this annoying woman. Did she seriously just imply that if I don't have the protection of my family background, I'd be deemed useless?" Margaret looked at Zoe and shook her head in disapproval. She said with a serious expression, "Zoe, actually what that girl said makes sense. If you really want to show some results of your own, don't do things with a lack of perseverance. Do things seriously, focus on doing one thing right. Otherwise, just by squandering time and money, the Goldberg family doesn't need you to show your face in public." "I don't want to. I don't believe that I can't." Zoe ran out of the shop with tears threatening to fall. Willow and Margaret quickly chased after her, but they could not find her. Sigh, this child. She's still young and hot-tempered. What an unruly girl for her age. Margaret sighed. When she thought about how Luna was probably only a few years older than Zoe but had already founded her own brand and was doing so successfully, Margaret could not help but feel rueful. What happened today had really changed her view of the woman. She had thought that she only worked in the entertainment industry and relied on her looks, but who would have known that she was different? Every word she had uttered to Zoe earlier had also rung true. Just that when it came to her status, such a pity. Seeing Margaret gaze admirably into the store at Luna, Willow suddenly felt worried. She held Margaret to walk forward and said, "Auntie, actually it's good that Zoe has the heart and passion. If she perseveres, she might really achieve something. Don't I know her well enough? She really doesn't have the talent. But I can see that Zoe seems quite sad. Actually, Spirit is really not all that amazing. I've heard some bad rumors about how Spirit's designer copied the work of another brand, History. Why don't I go back and help Zoe contact History, so she can sell their products instead? History is well known internationally and it's much more acclaimed than Spirit." Margaret patted her on the hand. "Sorry to bother you about her. Auntie, you're too kind. This is just a small matter. Besides, Zoe is my friend too," Willow said as a million thoughts crossed her mind. She suddenly realized that unknowingly, that woman had slowly strengthened one step at a time. She had even changed Margaret's thoughts from using Little Treasure to today's incident. Initially, she wanted to have a fair competition and not use any other methods to deal with that woman, but now she started to panic. When Zoe and the rest had left, the manager and a few shop assistants looked worriedly at Luna. "Boss, Zoe has pretty good support behind her. Are you sure it won't be a problem?" Luna checked the stock as she casually said, "Don't worry, your boss has stronger support." Chapter 975. At night, in a high-class villa estate. "What's the matter, Willow? Did something make you unhappy? Didn't you go out with Auntie Margaret today?" Thomas asked out of concern as he saw her looking unwell. Willow frowned. "Father, when I was out with Auntie Margaret today, we met that woman and I found out that she's the owner behind one of the top recently trending brands, which even got a grant from the government." Thomas smiled kindly. "That's what's got you down? I thought what could have made you upset. It must be because of Theo's help. Otherwise, what could she do on her own? But, I didn't expect Theo would go this far for her. He's probably trying to prepare her to marry into his family by attempting to raise her value." Thomas's expression darkened. "We can't let that woman continue with her plans anymore." Willow looked worriedly at him. "What are you trying to do, Father? Theo is so protective towards that woman. Not even Auntie or Uncle Matthew dares to do anything. If you..." After spending some time with Margaret recently, she had been hearing a lot about that woman. She found out that the ever-filial Theo had actually rebelled against his family and even argued fiercely with his father, all because of that woman. How unbelievable. "Don't fret. I don't have to do anything. A woman in the entertainment industry like her will surely have a few skeletons in the closet," Thomas sneered coldly. Willow understood her father's meaning. "Father, do you mean? But she's already with Theo now, so why would she be with someone else? With Theo, she doesn't have to make any shady deals." She did not think the woman would be stupid. Luna was not an opponent to be taken lightly of. Thomas shook his head. "Willow, you're still too naive. Human greed is infinite, especially for women living at the bottom of the food chain and with the worst personality possible, even being extremely flirtatious. No matter how well she hides it, it'll come out one day." "So, Father, does this mean that you found out about something?" Willow asked. Thomas smiled. "Don't worry about it, I'll handle this matter. Just spend more time with your Auntie Margaret. Avoid them still minding about what happened at the dinner." "Got it." Willow nodded and thought about the whole matter deeply. At first, because of her own pride, she felt that she would never lose no matter what tricks the woman played. But eventually, she realized that things were out of her control. Theo's attitude towards the woman was unbelievable. The man who was ever rational, the man she thought was the only one that could stand beside her, was charmed by such a cheap woman. She could never accept this. Finally, Willow convinced herself, she need not play fair against this kind of people. She had to make Theo wake up and return to the person she knew. Chapter 976. As Spirit Studios' business was booming, everything was going smoothly with the shooting crew as well. The secondary female lead had finally arrived after finishing her dance competition. She danced ballet and her looks, aura, and acting were pretty good. As for Diego and Caleb, their attitude towards Luna had changed for the better now. They tried to be cooperative when acting and not look for trouble anymore. Without realizing how quickly time passed, the shooting process entered its final period. It was 2 months earlier than the estimated timeline, and Jasper was really happy about it. That morning when Luna reached the set, she went up to Arthur and handed over a pink plastic bag. "Arth, I brought you some breakfast." Accepting the lovely breakfast brought by the wife, Arthur looked at Luna gently. "Thank you, Senior." "Oh, here's some milk here. Drink it." Luna then gave him a carton of strawberry milk. "Senior, what about mine? Why does only Arthur get it?" "Senior, you're being biased. You only get breakfast for Arthur every day," Caleb complained. "Because Arth helped me catch that snake before." Luna looked at Caleb proudly. Caleb pressed his hand to his chest in mock hurt. "That was so not worth it. I gave someone else the chance despite spending so much effort to catch that snake, and now it benefited Arthur. I should have saved her back then." Wait, she did not even need to be saved. Nevertheless, when he thought about it, Senior had started to change her attitude towards Arthur since the day he caught the snake for her. After finishing breakfast, Luna went up to Arthur again. "Arth, come, let's practice." Arthur nodded. "Senior, that's unfair. Why do you only practice with Arthur?" Caleb was at it again, his jealousy rearing its ugly head. Luna replied as a matter of factly, "Because Arth's not from a film school, so as a senior, of course, I have to help him." Caleb scratched his head. "Senior, don't you think it's ridiculous? Aside from you, he has the best acting skills among the crew. And why do you call him Arth and not call me Cal? Or Cal? Luna blinked. Cal. That sounds so weird." Caleb was speechless. He ran away with his heart feeling like it had been stabbed. How frustrating. Diego aside, he did not care about Arya and Ari since they were girls, but why was Arthur being more favored than him? He was far better looking than Arthur. Arya also mumbled, "Luna bro, you're actually quite biased towards Arthur. Even I'm getting jealous. Ha, he's just too pitiful in the movie, so I've to treat him better in real life." Luna laughed. "Well, that and he is my boyfriend after all." Jasper was touched when he saw the bunch of youngsters getting along together. He was reminded of his first movie shoot 10 years ago. As the props were being prepared, Jasper clapped his hands. "Let's get ready, we're starting." "Noted, Director." "All right." Chapter 977. 3, 2, 1. Action. In the current scene, all the 6 actors were present, and this was the climax of the whole movie. In order to create a better effect, Jasper purposely shot this scene later so that they had time to bond with one another. Set venue, a karaoke lounge. Characters present, Adrian, Sherry, Henry, Penny, Brian, Arya. With the help of the female lead, Sherry, Adrian finally got together with the woman of his dreams, Penny, and secured a romantic relationship. It was Penny's birthday that day, and Adrian had invited some friends over to celebrate for her. Ha, here's a toast to our birthday girl, Penny, and Adrian. I wish that the both of you will stay together forever and have lots of kids. Brian raised her wine glass and smiled. Penny blushed while Adrian laughed and nudged Brian's shoulder. What are you talking about? Ooh. The both of you should make a toast to your matchmaker. Brian looked at Sherry. Adrian was a very insensitive man. Actually, it was all thanks to Sherry that he was able to be with his dream girl. Penny's and Adrian's expressions changed. This joyous birthday celebration hid a dark conflict beneath. Everyone had their own unspoken thoughts. Actually, Penny had fallen in love with Sherry when she confessed to her in Adrian's stead, and she had told Sherry how she really felt. However, Sherry loved Adrian, so she rejected Penny directly. Penny had only agreed to be in a relationship with Adrian for revenge. On the other hand, Adrian started to realize he had special feelings for Sherry, so in denying his feelings for a man, he quickly started dating Penny. At the same time, he thought that his good friend, Sherry, liked Penny as well, so he did not know who he should be jealous of. As for Henry, he was observing everyone as an outsider, but he kept his own secrets as well. In this scene, everyone had to be in top-notch condition and project the complicated parts of their respective character. They would need to redo it all over again if any one of them failed to catch up. A few bad takes happened, but they continued. Looking at the lovey-dovey couple Adrian and Penny, Sherry smiled happily and drank, conveying the couple her best wishes as if she was the happiest person of the night, but the sorrow flooded her eyes. In the corner, Henry was focusing at Sherry. Sherry drunkenly went to the bar stool in the center of the room and picked the song Onion. If your eyes could just look at me, if you could hear the sound of my heart breaking, protecting you silently, waiting for a miracle quietly as if I'm one with the air. Everyone was laughing and enjoying. Tonight I was really happy. How much I'm blending into the crowd. The onions at the bottom of the plate is just like me, forever just a seasoning, quietly peeking at you, forever hiding myself. If you're willing to peel me off layer by layer, you'll be surprised. You're my most hidden, deepest secret. I'm just like an onion, always playing the side character. I hope I'd have a second chance with you, only you and me. This song was like a sharp blade piercing through the disguise of everyone's characters. Chapter 978. After the song ended, Sherry ran out of the room in uncontrollable tears. The one who followed was Penny. Penny thought Sherry actually liked her and thought that the song was sung for her, so she assumed that he had given up his chance with her for the sake of his friendship with Adrian. The camera shifted to the corridor of the karaoke lounge. Charles. Penny caught up and hugged Sherry from behind. Sherry froze. She knew she had to push her away, but she was not able to control herself now. She turned around and hugged Penny. Afterwards, Adrian came out of the room and saw them. The scenario of his good friend hugging his girlfriend was too much for him to take. Charles, what do you mean by this? Sherry looked at him quietly without any expression. Adrian, tonight, you didn't even look at me once, but now you're finally looking at me. What? Adrian was a little frightened by Sherry's intense gaze at the moment. Sherry stared at the man, her emotions building up inside. She said slowly, the dragon can't write any letters. If it misses the night, it'll kidnap the princess, so that the night will come. Adrian was shocked. What do you mean? Sherry looked at him in the eyes and poured out her heart. I mean, Adrian, I love you. Adrian was shocked and Penny could not believe what just happened. Caleb was dumbfounded while Arya sighed and Henry's heart sank. What was expected had happened. Cut. Good take. Pass. Jasper yelled excitedly. Even after the director said it was done, Diego, Caleb, Arya, and Derek were all still in acting mode and were not able to snap out of it. Only Luna and Arthur returned back to themselves instantly. Caleb commented, "Wow. This scene was intense." Arya nodded. "Especially Luna bro, your eyes." Diego was really great today as well. But who shocked me the most was Arthur. He had no lines at all, but I felt pain for him. Not only Arya felt this way. Bonnie, Mona, and a few other crew members were discussing it as well. Oh my gosh, I think I'm falling more and more for Henry. Me too, I really hope the female lead will be together with Henry. He's just so sad, he's sacrificed so much for the female lead yet she only loves the male lead. I'm so heartbroken. And is it just me or does Luna bro actually looks good with Arthur? Hahaha, you're not alone. Jasper was looking through the footage as he declared happily, everyone performed well. We're way ahead of the schedule as well. We'll have 2 days of holiday for everyone. The whole crew cheered. Diego was holding a book in his hand and was looking for Luna, but she was nowhere to be found. At the same time, he noticed that Arthur had disappeared as well. Diego's expression darkened a little. After witnessing Luna in her female outfit, he could not take his eyes off her and slowly he realized that the way Luna looked at Arthur was very different. Also, it was not the first time that the both of them had vanished together. In addition to Luna's special attitude towards Arthur, although there was no solid proof, almost everything hinted towards that direction. He just did not want to believe it. Just by comparing his family background and looks to Arthur's, how could she possibly like Arthur instead? Chapter 979. In the empty rest area, Luna tiptoed and kissed Arthur as he leaned against the door. "What are you doing?" Arthur raised his eyebrows and avoided her kiss. Luna pouted unhappily. "I'm trying to comfort your damaged heart." The man smiled wryly. "Stop fooling around, we might get caught." Luna was speechless. He had not been here for long, but he had even more work ethics than her now. "Impossible, we're being so low profile. None of the big shots are here. None of the idiots will come here and look for news." "Kiss. Kiss." Luna hopped around excitedly. The man bent over her small face helplessly. "Good boy, I only like you." Luna patted the man's head as she kissed his cheek like she was comforting a child. "I'm alright, we're just shooting a movie." Although he felt a little frustrated when he saw her scenes with Diego, he had learned to control his emotions after experiencing real acting. He saw her effort and dedication for himself, and he was now able to differentiate between acting and reality. As Luna looked at him, seeing how such a prideful man had changed for her little by little, she felt warmth bubbling inside of her. "My dear, I must have saved the whole world in my previous life, so that I could meet you now," Luna said. "Then, I must have been by your side in my past life, saving the world with you." The devil was being flirty. In the evening, in the Kingston family's villa, Willow opened the door to the study room. "Father, what's the matter?" "Willow, come over here, I'll show you something." Thomas smiled like he was in a good mood. "What is it?" Willow went over, confused. Thomas turned on the laptop on the table. "Look at this. Could it be what Father mentioned the last time?" Willow looked at Thomas, then walked over nervously. Willow was shocked the moment she saw the image on the screen. It was a picture. The woman in the picture was smiling sweetly and on tiptoes to kiss a man. Both of them looked extremely intimate. The picture was pretty clearly shot. The woman was obviously Luna while the man was not Theo. All the other pictures were of Luna with this stranger as well. They both acted very close. Apparently, it was not their first time. Willow murmured in disbelief. "How could this be?" Thomas sneered coldly. "There's nothing to be surprised about. I've said so, a flirt will leave her traces one day." Willow felt her blood boil. This is too much. Theo treated her so well. How could she be this shameless? Willow looked through the pictures again, but while she was angry at Luna, she felt at ease in her heart. All her anxiety and unease in the past few days had vanished. It was over. With these pictures, Luna is finished. No matter how much Theo was charmed by her, no man could accept his girlfriend cheating on him. Chapter 980. "Father, how do you plan to handle these pictures?" Willow asked. Thomas analyzed. "I actually wanted to hand them over to the newspapers and totally destroy that woman's reputation, but after some thought, I felt it's pointless. With Theo's ability, he'll surely find out that we're the ones who did it. If he realized that we revealed his dirty laundry to the public, he might turn hostile towards us. This is directly related to a man's reputation after all." Willow nodded. "You're right, I don't want him to be troubled as well. So, I suggest that you pass these pictures to him directly, then tell him that I sent people to investigate her. As for that woman, she'll be done for after Theo sees these pictures." "Noted, Father, I'll contact Theo now." "Alright, now go." At the same time, in Platinum Palace, Theo was completing some work in the study room when Luna opened the door with a bowl of soup she had taken a while to prepare. "Boss, time for supper." During this entire period of time, he had to work on his company-related stuff while acting. Luna was really worried about his health, so she came over and cooked for him every day. She also made supper for him every night. Theo even gained a little weight and his face looked rosy with no signs of fatigue. Even little Treasure had put on some weight as well. "What is it today?" Theo asked as he put down his documents. Luna replied, ginseng chicken soup with deer's antler. It's really nourishing. Drink up. A strong aromatic smell filled up the room the moment she removed the lid. Theo froze, his expression indescribable. Antler. Luna suddenly realized something as well. Ugh, antler is supposed to be good for a man's potency as well, eh? Well, it's nourishing anyway. Quickly drink it. It took me a long time to make this. It must have been hard on you during this period of time. You must really take care of yourself. Theo's expression darkened a little. I don't need any more nourishment in a certain area. It was a man's pride after all. Well, just ignore the antler. There are ginseng and chicken as well. Luna fed him with a spoon. Are you going to take responsibility for what's going to happen afterward? Theo looked at her suggestively. It was Luna's turn to freeze this time. Nothing's going to happen, right? As they talked, Theo's beeped with a new message. Luna's sharp eyes saw Willow's name. Theo saw it as well and he opened the message in front of Luna. Theo, I'm really sorry, my father investigated some matters behind my back and he found out that Ms. Luna is cheating on you with a male actor from her shooting cast. I contemplated for a long time but I think I have to let you know about it. I know you might not believe me but I've already sent the proof to your inbox. Take a look at it if you have the time. Luna blinked after reading the message. I'm cheating with a male actor, from my shooting cast? Theo was speechless.